Travel is being impacted by Tuesday's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse along Interstate 695 in Baltimore, Maryland. Drivers were immediately directed to take alternate routes through the city, following the early morning incident. What's less clear is what the bridge collapse may mean for upcoming cruises in and out of Baltimore. Vessel traffic into and out of the Port of Baltimore is suspended until further notice. The Port of Baltimore posted on X, formerly Twitter. Live updates. Baltimore's Key Bridge collapses after ship hits it. Construction crew missing Rep. Kwesi Mfume, DMD, whose district includes the bridge and the port, called the collapse an unthinkable horror, and said he had spoken with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and the White House. They are responding with all of the assets at their disposal, he said in a statement. Our prayers right now are for the missing individuals and victims of this tragedy. We thank God for the effective service of our first responders. Here's what we know. Several major cruise lines serve Baltimore. According to the Cruise Lines International Association, the industry's leading trade group, published itineraries in the 2024 calendar year include a dozen ships making 115 stops in Baltimore. We are deeply saddened by the tragedy and collapse of the Key Bridge that occurred last night and extend our support and heartfelt prayers to all those impacted, CLIA spokesperson Ann Madison said in an emailed statement. We join everyone in extending our thanks and appreciation to the first responders and emergency workers in Baltimore, the U.S. Coast Guard, and other professionals who are working with one goal in mind: to save lives. We are closely following this situation. Royal Caribbean's Vision of the Seas has a round-trip itinerary scheduled to depart Baltimore on April 12, according to the cruise line's website. We are deeply saddened by the tragedy and collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge and extend our heartfelt prayers to all those impacted, a spokesperson for the line said in an email. We are closely monitoring the situation, and our port logistics team is currently working on alternatives for Vision of the Sea's ongoing and upcoming sailings. Carnival's website shows Carnival Pride and Carnival Legend also have sailings into or out of Baltimore set for April. Carnival Legend will temporarily move operations to Norfolk, Virginia. The ship's current cruise, which left for a planned round-trip sailing from Baltimore on March 24, will end in Norfolk on Sunday. Passengers will then receive free bus rides to Baltimore. The vessel's next cruise will sail round-trip from Norfolk later that day. Our thoughts remain with the impacted families and first responders in Baltimore, Carnival President Christine Duffy said in a statement.